Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about the weather event that is occurring today up in going on up in Minnesota and Wisconsin. As you can see, it looks like we got one current tornado warning occurring. It's up here in Wisconsin on the edge near Austin. We'll have a look at the storm. So as we can see the little tornado warning box happening. As we can also see, looks like there might be some broad rotation within this storm. As we can see, it looks like there's an outflow boundary that's starting to form outside these storms. That could be a sign that these storms could start weakening soon. But let's go into further analysis and see what's happening. As we can see, the Storm Prediction Center has kept their enhanced risk up, even spread it into the western edge of Michigan. So let's go into some further details on what's happening. We're going to look at the meso analysis. We're going to change texture. We're going to look up here and see what is currently happening. As we talked about with the models, we said that there might be a narrow strip of cape that might be unstable. Let's look at what's happening. As we can see, there's surface-based cape, but we can see there's some convective inhibition through this area. But we can see there's about 2,500 joules up here. And the region I was talking about, northwest Nebraska, is not looking too good. I was hoping I might have predicted that right, but, well, it has some sort of, according to the rapid analysis, as we can see, it has something for me, but we will keep an eye out. Let's go mixed layer. Let's see, everything's still stable, but the storms are still getting about, I think there's about 2,000, well, say about 2,000 to 1,500 joules of cape. As we can see, there's this blue hash area, like we have predicted some convective inhibition through this region. So as we can think of convective inhibition as a layer of stable air. So we forgot to look at something before we did this. I'm sorry, this is last minute. I decided to go live and kind of do a brief analysis, see how my prediction is going so far. It's not looking that great, but as we can see, there's a low located over. There is a low that's located right here with a little bit of warm front, and we can see another warm front with another cold happening. I think that this is where that tornado warning is happening currently. And as we can see, another kind of like low forming over here in northwest Wisconsin. Wisconsin. So let's dive deeper. Let's look at the bulk shear. As we can see, these storms still have some bulk shear with these storms. As we look, now let's go surface 1 kilometer. As we can see, there is a little bit of surface to 1 kilometer, about only 10 knots, not large. Let's further investigate this. Let's go surface to 6 kilometers. As we can see, there's still some cape. So now we're going to look at helicity, how much spin. So we can see there is a large amount of spin that's happening through this area, about 200 SRH storm relative, but it's a little north, but we can't take this literal. It might be a little further south, but it gives us a general idea what these storms are working with. We're going to look at the 0 to 500. As we can see, let's see. As we can see, there's a little bit of 0 to 500 meters, only 30, so not a whole lot of spinning happening within the atmosphere. So probably if we look at supercell composite, probably not the high. Well, it's a little higher north to the storms, but I think where the storms are, they're a little further to the south. So, but as we can see, there's still maybe a slight chance of tornadoes happening. If we go probability of E of 0, we got some 15. So quick brief spin ups are definitely not out of the question, but all the ingredients like cape and all that is encountering some stable air. So we're not expecting a lot from these storms to do anything much as predicted. As we're going to look at the hail, because we discussed there might be a good hail, we're going to look at hail Let's go significant hail parameters. As we can see, there is probably still some chance of hail through this region. Let's really look at dew points, temperature. So we can see some 88, 86 dew points in the 68 through this region. So pretty modest dew points. High temperatures about in the 80. We can see 94 through this region. So there's this capping that we saw, and we see some convective inhibition through this region. So it doesn't look like a whole lot's going to be happening. Probably just some brief spin ups. But other than that, I don't expect anything big to occur for the rest of the afternoon. It looks like for Colorado, Nebraska, a couple of severe storms with hail winds are possible through the evening. A watch is not expected. So nothing too biggy there. As you can see, that's where that slight risk, they put that slight risk up. This is tomorrow's event. I will go over this event. As we can see, there's a slight chance that Pennsylvania, New Jersey, winds, hail. But let's look at day 3. I say day 3 looks more favorable, but it was something to keep an eye on. Oh, and we also know that there's going to be another thing I'll be hopefully maybe go live stream, kind of go over. There's this tropical disturbance. Oh, it's already a tropical storm. Chris, look at there. I haven't kept my eyes too much on it, but it'll be something I might be covering here soon. Just to go over what's happening with this one. We're going to look at, but this system's going to land anywhere between Texas and Mississippi, pretty much. I mean, we're still too far out, but something to keep an eye on. Models have been showing that this some sort of hurricane / tropical storm is going to form out here. But later I plan on going over sea temperature, what the model says, what the shear through this region, whether it be any shear, rip the storm apart, or anything like that. We'll just keep an eye on. Until then, I'm just going to keep an eye on these severe weather events that are happening right now. And maybe tomorrow I might go over briefly over the hurricane event that may not occur, but as we can see, it looks like. But back to the storms in Wisconsin, as we can see, there's a boundary that's out leading these storms, so these storms behind it might start dying or choking off. I don't expect this tornado warning to last much longer, but I've been proven wrong before many times, so sometimes it's just best not to say. But maybe still some. But if there's maybe some new cells could form with this boundary line that's racing ahead of these storms back here. So maybe something to keep an eye on as the evening continue. So I'm sorry I don't have the greatest of radars like everyone else does that has radar scope and all that. This is what I use. I use this and NextLab. So probably radar scope be something I'll be wanting to get in the future. So you can clearly see this boundary line right here. See the red outracing these storms. So these storms create this thing called a cold pool, and when the cold pool is really strong, it creates like another frontal boundary, imaginary frontal boundary. We can see it race ahead. As we can see, when this frontal boundary came through, sometimes it does help development of storms. So I don't see much rotation. Then again, it's not the best radar. So I don't think that's it right there. Let's kind of go on the next slide and see if we can see it. So this is next lab. This is the other radar we're gonna go. I'm assuming this might be closer. Somewhere around in here is a tornado warning. Base loop. velocity, my bad. So, nope, not 48 hours. Somewhere in here, Mr. Tornado, I think that's it right in here. That looks noisy. Maybe we go reflective mean. Might be able to see it a little better. Okay, so yeah, there is something maybe within this storm right in here. That looks pretty good. Blue on red. So there might be something on the ground maybe. If this. So. But overall, I kind of mispredicted, expecting Wisconsin to have a better tornado chance today than Minnesota. I saw Minnesota could have a slight chance, but I was hoping there would be some storm. Well, not hoping, but I thought there would be for sure some storms to form through here. As you can see, the wrap kind of shows that, but it doesn't show it doing much. So, well, I may have mispredicted, and that's fine too. It happens. It happens to the best of us. As we can see, as the afternoon, something is to form, but the supercell composite is not there, so all the ingredients for anything to happen is not there. But as we can see, maybe through Minnesota and northern Iowa, according to this, maybe we'll just have to keep our eyes on it as the afternoon continues. We can see bulk 3 kilometers looks pretty good. Surface 1 kilometer, 6 kilometers. In case I don't know what. So we can see this and the bulk shear 1 kilometer is almost the same. Maybe a little different. Bulk shear kind of. Geez, I really don't know what bulk shear is. Kind of takes like 2 different spots and it figures out like. But definitely not a very favorable environment. I mean, somewhat. Favorable environment. So pretty much what bulk shear is, it takes 2 different levels of the atmosphere and it kind of compares the winds and shows how what's the amount of wind between the 2 levels, essentially. So if we go effective layer, it seems like all the ingredients are running behind the system. That's kind of weird because if we look at Kate, I mean, I don't know if we go on SRH, storm relative helicity, effective, we can see it kind of running behind. That's kind of, but what I'm starting to see is maybe this area back in here, if we can get some, maybe as this system continues, we can possibly get something through Wisconsin. Maybe it'd be a later event. That's kind of strange. Let's see what the front analysis shows us. 06. Cold front pushing through. The Nebraska area was a bust. That's alright. I'll definitely learn from this event. And the rapid analysis did a really good job handling how much effective cape there is in the convective inhibition. The NAM showed a lot more bigger plumes of cape that won't have as much convective inhibition. I think it tried to overmix it, um, but you can clearly tell that the wrap is doing a good job with this setup. Um, as we can see, the LCL level of kind of elevated by the looks of it. So we got some very elevated LCL heights. In case you don't know what LCL heights are, lifting condensation level is where it's where the particle becomes saturated. It's pretty much, it'll tell us how high the clouds are. Usually when you're looking for a tornado threat, you're looking for a much lower LCL heights. And as we can see, if we click on this, the STP is like 0. Supercell composite is barely on the box of whiskers, but we can see there's, and we can see the LCL heights are really high through this area. So, but if we click here, see the LCL heights are really high through here. So, but usually you can still have tornadoes, but LCL heights are really high. But this is really elevated. But what you need is a lot more effective helicity through this area and a lot more shear, and probably a little bit more cape that's effective. But as we can see, convective inhibition is playing a role with this system. And this is where I took the sounding, is right where that near that tornado warning is occurring currently. We'll just make sure it's still there. They took it off. So, I mean, I'm definitely not saying there won't be a brief tornado, but the conditions that are here are very, very, very unfavorable for anything to really happen. It looks like it's going to be more of a straight line wind event / hail event. As we kind of look ahead, so 0.4. I mean, see, quasi-linear, we're going to go a line because this kind of looks like a line. So you can see shear is just not there. LCL heights are really elevated. Convective inhibitions on the bottom. So. But overall, these are my thoughts of the system that's currently coming through. Probably nothing much is gonna happen. Definitely expect a wind event. So overall, I will definitely try to do tomorrow's event. I'm gonna do my brief analysis in the morning. I usually try to wait in the morning to do these kind of things, so or the day before. So those are my two ways of doing it. So we can have, I hopefully have a better prediction. Sometimes I do keep up with it. I just don't share my thoughts on it quite yet. But definitely day 3 looks very interesting. I will go into more detail when we get there. Um, so here's a little bit of what the SPC guys has to say. For the Central Plains, Middle Layer, Missouri surface-based convective development appears most likely to occur mid-late afternoon across east, central, north Nebraska into South Dakota, Minnesota. Steep latch rates of 40 knot effective shear would be favorable for supercells capable of large hail and some tornado risk. It seemed probable that one or more southward moving forward propagation clusters of storms could evolve during the evening with damaging wind threats increasing accordingly potential across the area. So looks like we're gonna have all modes of severe weather to happen. By looking at the mixed layer K, 2,000 to 3,500 is pretty insane. And as we can see, steep level lapse rate, so we can always suspect large hail with these kind of events. One thing I forgot to look at is we're going to real quick look at the latch rates, see how the, even though we did look at significant hail chance, so significant hail chance shows that there is still a good probability of hail to occur, falling from the sky, should I say. So if we look at mid-level latch rates, and we can see it's still 7.5, so that's pretty high. And this is the mid-level, let's look at the low level, so we can still expect large hail to fall through this area. But overall, these are my thoughts. I don't see too much more happening throughout the evening. I busted on the Nebraska prediction pretty bad, but that's okay. I should have probably paid not predicted it, but this is why I do these kind of things, just to show that we're all human. We all make mistakes. And we learn from these mistakes, and I hope to get better at predicting. I've been doing quite a bit of research, but not saying I'm a professor or anything. I mean, shoot, I'm probably the worst at this, but it's something I love to do, something just to go over. And I love trying to understand the physics and the math behind on how to predict weather. But like I said, not the very best at it. It's something I just like to sit down and kind of do as a hobby. But overall, these are my thoughts of the system. I busted Nebraska. I think so far the way how the system's going, I definitely busted Wisconsin. I didn't have a look at Michigan nor Pennsylvania, but as you can see, the SPC guys only put a 2% chance, so this system's very much over for tornadoes, but the wind is still pretty high, along with hail. So, but tomorrow I will do a morning quick analysis. It looks like there's going to be a long line, maybe a QLCS. Usually when you have these long things, but I have to look at it and see what's happening. But we can see there's a 2% potential over here, so I will have a look at that, and I will see what's happening tomorrow evening. Hopefully I won't bust near as bad. And well, I hope everyone has a good day. It looks like this severe weather event overall for tornadoes are relatively over. Can't say that there won't be a brief spin up to happen, but chances are still pretty low. So, till then, I hope everyone has a good day and keep your eyes on the sky.